Thank you very much. The next person up it will be again Dennis, who will be introducing the recipient of the 2015 ASTDA Achievement Award.
One of the nice things about being the chair is that I get to choose what I do sometimes, and I chose this to introduce Dr. Jeanne Marrazzo, who I've known for 20 years or so, not to give away any ages. Dr. Marrazzo is professor of medicine and acting head of the Division of Allergy and Infectious Diseases and director of the Seattle STD HIV Prevention Training Center. She's internationally recognized, and I think all of us recognize that, for her research and education efforts in the field of sexually transmitted infections, especially as they affect women's health. It's the way we became acquainted in the first place. She's a fellow of the American College of Physicians and the Infectious Diseases Society of America. She conducts research on the human microbiome and is the director of the UW Sexually Transmitted Infection Cooperative Research Center. She holds several positions with the American Board of Internal Medicine, including the chair of the Infectious Disease Specialty Board and president of the council. Her other research interests include the prevention of HIV infection using biomedical interventions, including microbicides. Recently, she led the VOICE study, a large study evaluating HIV pre-exposure prophylaxis administered vaginally and orally to women at high risk for HIV infection in sub-Saharan Africa. And this was conducted as part of the NIH-funded microbicide trial network. She's a fellow of the American College of Physicians and the Infectious Disease Society of America. Other areas of research interest include pathogenesis and management of bacterial vaginosis, STDs in HIV-infected persons, and antibiotic resistance to gonorrhea. And that's the official part. That's the official bio. And the part that I would think that we would all recognize and resonate to is the recognition of a person who is a leader, and is a leader with a voice and a heart, who conducts and disseminates research that people gravitate to, that resonate to, that in fact changes the landscape of the way that sexually transmitted infections are talked about, are practiced, and how we all go about it. That's what a leader does, and that's what Jeanne's entire career exemplifies. And so I hope you'll all join me in welcoming and recognizing one of the real stars in the galaxy of STD research, Jeanne.
Dennis, thanks. That was just beautiful and humbling. I'm also, like Bob, happy to be considered still mid-career. I think that doesn't mean I'm probably going to be working for a while. There's really not enough time to thank everyone who's responsible for me being up here, not the least of which is my friends at the ASTDA. But I do want to mention a few names in the context of having been the recipient of extraordinary interdisciplinary mentoring throughout my career. There's no doubt about that. And in fact, I was fortunate to have a few days with Ned Hook before this meeting, and we were actually talking over dinner about the concept of mentoring. And what we arrived at was the idea of mentoring as much of being a value system and an attitude as much as it is a set of skills. And in fact, it's probably much more the former, and really what it means to me, what it means to the mentors whom I love and owe so much to, is really being committed to the success of another person, whatever that looks like. And sometimes it may not look like what you want it to look like when you're mentoring a person, but that's really what it's about. I also think that mentoring crosses the professional tiers that we think about, from fellow to professor, and really being mentored from above and below throughout your career is something that certainly has enabled me to thrive, and which I'm just eternally grateful for. So in that context, I want to mention a few examples of how I've benefited from the pantheon of STD HIV superstars throughout my career. They've been pretty amazing. So very briefly, just in a minute or so, my career would not have really taken off without the trust and input and support of people like Hunter Hansfield, Connie Kellum, Laura Kautsky, Sharon Hillier, who really were sort of a formidable quad of powerhouse people who got me started. Ned Hook, Gail Sevgi, Dave Martin, and Julie Schachter in particular trusted me very early on with some important responsibilities and really were critical mentors to me. I also think that, again, I have peer mentors who've been indispensable. Anna is probably the most devoted friend and colleague anyone could ask for. Lisa Manhart, Matt Golden, David Fredericks, and Jared Baton come to mind. And then finally, it's been really fun to mentor and be mentored by some really junior stars, people like Christine Johnston, Josh Schiffer, who's here, and Lisa Noguchi, who's also here. So just a few people who I really could never have succeeded without. I also couldn't have done this without my incredible research team. I've had some people who've been working with me for well over a decade and have been incredibly devoted. And then, of course, I have to thank my better half, my love of my life, Joe Hoffman, who's actually here, and my life partner sitting in the table there. So I really just want to say that this award means the world to me, and so do all of you. Thank you.